Hey guys, Metal Driver here bringing you another AEW Unrivaled review. Today I'll be looking at Series 3, Orange Cassidy. So looking at the front of the box you see an image of Orange Cassidy. Then on the side you see the AEW logo and another image of Orange Cassidy. On the back of the box you see an image of Cassidy, his signature, and the event in which this picture was taken. Dynamite, date June 24th, 2020 in Jacksonville, Florida. Then at the bottom of the box you see the rest of the figures that are in this wave. Alright, and now that we have looked at the box, let's go ahead and open this figure up and take a closer look at Orange Cassidy. Alright, and here is freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy out of the packaging. But before we take a look at the figure, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that he comes with. Alright, so he comes with quite a bit of accessories, which includes gripping hands, then his pocket hands, which fits pretty well in the pockets of the pants. Then he also comes with his lazy thumbs up gesturing right hand. Then he comes with his pair of sunglasses, which looks really good. Paint came out pretty nicely on the glasses. It's got gold around, and then around the lenses as well. So no sloppy paint. Pretty good for the most part. Then he comes with his entrance gear, which is his denim jacket and his Orange Cassidy t-shirt. So this is a soft goods material, which is really nice. Glad they did that so it doesn't hinder any of the articulation. So as you can see, he even has almost a full range of his double jointed elbows. So that looks really nice. And then the detail on the jacket is pretty good. So you've got this print here, which mimics the stitching of the jacket. You got that on the sleeves as well. You got the print of the buttons here and the pockets. So overall, really good looking denim jacket. Some more of that print to mimic the stitching. So really nice. And the t-shirt is printed really well. So it's got this nice black and white image of Orange Cassidy. Now this can come off. So the way that works, this is not a full t-shirt underneath. It's actually velcroed to the jacket. So you just take that off. Then there is no velcro on this side. And then that way you are able to remove the soft goods jacket pretty easily. Alright, then taking a look at the head sculpt. This is sculpted pretty well. It does look like Orange Cassidy, although for some reason it looks like the head sculpt kind of looks tired or exhausted. But aside from that, the paint came out really well on the figure. The beard looks good. It's painted really well all around here. The mustache is good. The facial hair underneath the lower lip is really good. The lips are painted well. The eyes look really good. The eyebrows look good. The hair is sculpted really nicely. It's got this nice flowing swoosh off to the side, and his part is right there, so really nice. So really good likeness to Orange Cassidy, and even to the Solomonster. So for those of you that listen to the Solomonster Sounds Off podcast, you'll get that inside joke. Alright, then looking at the body. So not a whole lot of paint, it's just his skin tone, which looks really good. He does have a thin frame, so he's got thinner arms, thinner torso, so this looks like the exact same body that was used for Darby Allin, which is totally fine in my book because Orange Cassidy really isn't a bulky guy. He's kind of thin, similar to Darby Allin, so good use on Jazzwares for reusing those parts. Then looking at the pants. So he's wearing denim jeans, but obviously it's not real denim, it's plastic. However, here, from the waist down to the top of the knee, he does have this rubbery plastic on top of the plastic legs, so that way you're able to mimic his hands in his pockets. So that's how they were able to do that. So he does have slits here for the pockets, and as I demonstrated earlier, they do fit in very well in the pocket, so that looks really good. Sculpt work on the rubbery denim, it's pretty nice. It's got these lines here. It's got some sculpt work here on the inside of the thighs, and also at the front. Now look at the back. Some nice wrinkled sculpt work here, so really good. And the back pocket sculpted. And look at the bottom of the legs. So here, from the knee down, it's got the harder plastic. So it does match really well with the rubbery plastic here. So good sculpt work on the legs. Then you've got the rip here by the knee with his black tights showing through. Some more good sculpt work, some nice wrinkles. So really good on the legs. No additional paint, but it doesn't really need it. It's just molded in solid light blue. Then look at the shoes. Shoes look really good, sculpted really nicely. Paint looks good. You can see a little bit of the back of his calf showing through. So good paint work on the shoes. No sloppiness. So overall, really good looking figure. Nice cool gimmick on the pants. And a ton of cool accessories with this figure. Alright then, going over the articulation, so the head's on a ball joint and a hinge, which allows him to look that far up and that far down, which is really good. Some great range of motion there. The head can turn side to side, and it can slightly tilt. Shoulder has a hinge, which allows it to go that high up. Can rotate all the way around. There's a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which have really good range of motion, a swivel, and hinge at the wrist. He has a ball joint at the upper diaphragm, which allows him to crunch actually pretty far forward. Most of the AEW figures don't really crunch that far forward here at this part, so that's really nice. He can go that far back. He can turn side to side really well, and he can slightly, actually no, he doesn't really pivot. Then there's another ball joint at the waist, which allows him to actually turn pretty well. So most of my other AEW figures don't really twist that well here at the waist. He can crunch that far forward, so he's got a really good range here. He can go that far back. Alright, and then here at the hips, it's got ball joints at the hips, and there should be a thigh cut there. However, the rubbery plastic does seem to hinder some of the articulation, so the legs go that far out, which isn't too much. And then the rubbery plastic does bring the legs in, so it doesn't hold the position too well. Legs can go that high up, which isn't too bad, but again, the rubbery plastic doesn't allow for the legs to stay up. So there is a thigh cut there. He has double jointed knees. There's a cut here at the ankle, which allows for rotation. Ankle has a hinge that allows it to go that high up, that far down, and he does have good ankle pivot. Oh, and before I forget, there's actually a cut here above the knee, so there is an additional rotation there, so that's worth noting. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Series 3 Orange Cassidy figure? I think this is a pretty good figure. It was one of the figures that I was looking forward to from this wave. I'm really pleased with it. I love the accessories that he comes with. The interchangeable hands, the soft goods, denim jacket, and t-shirt is really well executed. And I like that you can put his hands in his pockets, like so. Now, I will say that I'm really not the biggest fan of the rubbery plastic that they used, because it does hinder the articulation there, so for someone like myself who does photography, it's going to be kind of difficult posing him in certain poses because of that rubbery plastic. So it's not a perfect figure, does have a few flaws, mainly in the rubbery part of the pants. Now hopefully in the future we can get an updated Orange Cassidy figure with maybe some different parts here at the pants. Perhaps maybe a soft goods part where you can put his hands in his pockets, or even a retooled, sculpted waist and hips. Maybe something that can allow for the hands to go in the pockets without hindering the articulation. So despite that, I do think this figure is worth picking up. It is really solid. Orange Cassidy is really popular right now in AEW, so this is definitely a figure you're not going to want to miss out on. And even if you're not going to pose it or take photos of this figure, it'll look really nice on a shelf with his hands in his pocket and his thumbs slightly up. So if you like this review, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe so you can see more AEW Unrivaled reviews. Follow me on social medias and keep up to date with all my wrestling figure photography. As always, stay tuned until the end to see pictures of this figure in action, and I'll see you next time.